Welcome to the Just Josh podcast.
Who the fuck is this guy? Hey, who the fuck are you? Huh? Who the fuck are you?
This whole thing's a little weird.
Never yet fear, laddie buck.
Rex, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Josh?
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, man. Good, yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, glad to be here. Love the setup.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a Baker Mayfield Indians jersey?
No, it's a Browns one, but it's a fake one from China that has you can customize them, so it's got a paint splash on it.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So it's quote unquote their color rush one. But
okay.
I've never seen him wear it, so it's probably totally fake, you know. Dude, I'm so glad to have you on here, even though this is quote-unquote a music podcast. The Browns and the Ravens won their games, and they're moving on in the playoffs, and I especially am happy for you as an Orioles fan. I know what it's like to go through a long drought of not winning and just having horrible ownership or stuff just not going the right way, and so I'm so happy for all the Cleveland fans out there. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you, Browns.
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat on the screen that was this is our first win in the playoffs. It said away game playoffs, so I'm not exactly sure, but since 1969 or 63 or something. It was in the 60s the last time the Browns really were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
To my understanding, in my entire career of being a Browns fan, where it's we moved up in the playoffs.
Yes.
That's unheard of.
Dude.
That's never been seen. My dad is 68 years old and young and spry still at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And he is just the biggest Browns fan.
Mm-hmm.
And all I want to see is for them to go all the way and just be
yeah,
Dad, you've been through it all.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
That's so cool. How old were you in 99? Do you remember?
I was 3.
3 years old. Okay, yeah. Wow. I'm dating myself. Okay, I'm going to make myself sound really old here. So I feel like the reason I want to get you on too is because I think our teams too both went through similar situations back in the day, which caused so much heartache, and the Towns are such big football fans. We used to be the Baltimore Colts, and then the Ursays. Well, I guess I should back it up even before that to try and give why this means so much for the Browns and then also for the Ravens fans to a degree. Now, we've had some success. We're lucky that we've had 2 Super Bowls since we've become an inception, but
when was that? When did the Ravens?
Yeah, so the first one we became the Ravens in 96.
Okay.
And then we won our first championship in 2001, so not shortly after. And that's another reason why a lot of Browns fans are super aren't the biggest fans of Baltimore too.
Yeah,
because
I have too many friends in Baltimore now to be to love you guys that much.
yeah. But and then we got our other one in I guess it's 2014 or 2012 now. God, it's
2012. You guys won the Super Bowl?
Yes. Yeah, 2012. Yeah, so we've had 2 of them. But I guess the whole story behind both of our franchises for me, and this is why I'm so excited to talk about it, because I love sports and I love Baltimore. When the Colts left Maryland, it was the year I was born. So that was 84. So I wasn't a football fan growing up because we didn't have a team. So until 96, I guess I was 12 years old when we finally got the Baltimore Colts. So by that point, I'm already playing soccer, basketball, other sports, not really much of a football fan.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
But, growing up, though, once the Ravens came, we used to get a lot of heat from Browns fans. And as someone that didn't know the history, I was always confused. And I was always like, why is he hating on me so much? I don't get it. And I think for people out there that don't know the story of how the Baltimore Ravens, as they are today, came about, is we used to be the Cleveland Browns. And we lost our team, the Colts, We used to be the Baltimore Colts, and in the middle of the night, without telling anyone, like,
No
nothing.
way. They blindsided you?
Oh, the Ursays are, we hate the Ursays. I hate the Colts with a passion. So I understand where Browns fans get those feelings from because I went through it before them, or I shouldn't say because I wasn't alive at the time, but Baltimore fans went through the same thing that Colts fans went through. So, but it was different too. So the Ursays were just total crap human beings, in my opinion. I can say that's my podcast. And the year before that, the Baltimore Colts actually drafted John Elway. So that was our pick, was John Elway. And he refused to come to Baltimore. Said he wasn't going to play for Irsay or the coaches because he didn't want to. So that pissed Irsay off too. Probably had something to do with it. And then he kind of took his anger out on Baltimore and was like, fuck Baltimore. And I don't think they ever really liked Baltimore. I think they always thought it was a shit town. So they just packed up literally. Actually, let's see if I have these pictures here. Is this here? Yes. Look, this is from like 1984, like these black and white pictures and stuff of like the Mayflower trucks leaving like Baltimore with all of the stuff packed up in it.
No.
It was such a heartbreaking loss. And so another thing, the reason Baltimore fans were so hurt is we didn't get to keep our name and our Super Bowls that we had won up until that point. They just left.
How many was it?
I think we had two of them, at least by the Colts, at least one or two. So they left in the middle of the night. We never got to keep our name, our colors, our history, any of that. It was just up and gone. Then we also didn't get a team for another 12 years because DC had a football team, the Redskins, obviously, or I guess they're the Washington football team. So their owner pushed back against Baltimore getting a team because he wanted to take all the Baltimore fans and convert them to Washington fans. And same thing with kind of our Orioles and the Nationals. There was always kind of a rivalry here about getting sports teams. That's why Baltimore's never had a basketball team, because DC has a basketball team, even though Baltimore has some.
Wow, they're trying to feed off of you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like that's the reason Baltimore's never had one, and we have some of the best talent in basketball come out of Baltimore and DC, like that whole area. So the Colts left, and Irsay, it just left a bitter, taste in our mouth.
That was 84, you said?
Yeah, 84. And then we didn't get another team until 96.
And then you took us.
Yeah, so then we took you, exactly. So for the Browns, when they lost their team, this is the backstory. Instead of just leaving in the middle of the night, this had kind of been brewing. Art Modell, rest in peace, who I have no doubt the reason the Ravens are as successful as we are, even though he's been gone for a while, is directly related to how he ran the Cleveland Browns and their culture, and then how they ran, the Ravens. So I know Art struggled for years and years, like let's say like 5-6 years, to keep the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. But I guess economically and stuff at the time, the city wasn't willing to help out with the new stadium. They couldn't do so many different things that they wanted to. They just weren't good. Yeah. They just weren't and good. They weren't good. So like, it's hard to, invest in a product that, that's not good. So he tried to stay. And when it was clear that he was either going to go bankrupt or he would have to find another solution, that's when he started looking to other towns. Baltimore offered him not only other backers, because at this point he was almost bankrupt. Either our current owner, and then a bunch of other people went in with him, and then also the city offered to pay for half of a new stadium. So that's what lured him to Baltimore. Now, Art, unlike the Ursays, didn't leave in the middle of the night. He tried to stick it out. He loved the Browns. He loved Cleveland. But as a businessman, I guess he made a business decision,
Yeah. Yeah, if the city ain't going to afford it.
Yeah.
That's smart on him. I mean,
yeah. What are you going to do? Like, I look at it like if I was in the same position, I guess I would have to do the same thing. Guess I wouldn't really have much of a choice.
Keep what you know alive, yeah. And
yeah.
If you have to move, you got to move. And so you can continue. I'm just curious. So, had us for like 4 years then, or 3 years?
Well, what happened was, So unlike us that we didn't get to, Art then also said, okay, if we're leaving, I'm going to leave the Browns history in Cleveland. So he let them keep the name. He let them keep. Now, people will argue that they had to go to court over it, which is true because obviously that was his team. Like, he's going to want to take it with him. But then when it was clear that he was leaving, he was like, you know what? Out of respect for Cleveland, because I love Cleveland, you guys get to keep the Cleveland Browns name, all that. Because we were going to be the Baltimore Browns is what they were going to turn into.
It doesn't have the same ring.
It does not. And I'm so glad they didn't, because like even though I'm from Baltimore, I actually am a big Cleveland fan. Like, I root for the team, minus when we're playing each other, obviously. And again, I think it goes back because our teams, we are some form to a degree of the Browns. So, I just love
forever.
Yeah. So that's how, and then 4 years later, you guys were able to get a team. So I think it's funny because a lot of Baltimore Colts fans and Baltimore Ravens fans understand what Cleveland fans went through, but also are like, well, you guys at least got to keep your name, like we didn't get shit from the Ursays. The Ursays,
Indianapolis just went up and snatched you.
Dude, it sucks because I went to Indianapolis. I saw a game there, and I went, and they have all the Super Bowls and stuff, and the ones that were in Baltimore say Indianapolis Colts on it. It just pisses me off so bad.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they don't even give us they don't even say.
They literally took the legacy. Wow, I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would have rather not had a team for another 10 years and gotten to keep our legacy as opposed to. So that's why we had to start over as the Ravens in 96, which is fine too. But,
Okay.
I guess the point of all this story, though, is John Elway, fuck him, because I feel like he started this all, this whole thing. But our teams now, again, we've had some success, but man, I'm so happy for the Browns fans, and I'm so happy for everyone there. And I would love to see an AFC championship.
That would be insane. I don't think it's going to happen.
Me either.
I have a lot of faith in my Brownies. I really do. But this weekend against the Chiefs is just like, I don't know. They've been so unpredictable all year. I hope we have a healthy team. It was kind of last minute last game against the Steelers where we were just like, oh, your head coach is out.
Oh my
Coach
God.
Stefanski has COVID, and it's just like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Of course. But no, the city was on fire this weekend in the best way possible.
Yeah. And I was rooting so hard for the Browns because I hate the Steelers.
Yeah. We got so much in common.
We do. We really do. Like, the Cleveland and Baltimore really are pretty much the same team. We have the same enemies. I'm loving it, dude. I'm hoping that Cleveland and Baltimore start a really nice rivalry going forward where we're both competitive and we're both always pretty good and we're trading back and forth, I would love that because the rivalry with the Steelers has never really been a rivalry when we can't beat them, Yeah. Like, if we're the two dominating teams of the division, I mean, I only say that now because I know Big Ben Roethlisberger, quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, like, he might not be coming back. I don't know if it's confirmed or denied yet, but a lot of my friends, some of my friends here in Cleveland are from Pittsburgh, and my buddy was watching the show or was watching the game with me, and he's like, watching Ben on the bench at the end of the game just looks so sad and just like defeated. And he's like, yes, that's the only quarterback I've ever known. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, my buddy's whole life of like 20, he's 24, but like 20 however years of watching football, that's the only guy he looked up to. Right. And that's like, man, I can't say I've looked up to our quarterbacks, but I've seen so many. There's I've seen like people's jerseys at the stadium with like 15 quarterback names on the back. Oh, like, my just goodness. Their own Browns jersey, but just they keep tacking on another one. That's at the so end, funny. It's just like paper hanging off. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. I've seen a few of those. Yeah. Well, you guys got Lamar now, and Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Ravens, is a beast. He is a beast, but there's still a lot of people that would take Baker over Lamar. In the long run, because they're saying that at least Baker's still going to have his arm to a degree, but I'm like, I don't know. How old is Lamar? He just turned 24, like literally like a couple weeks ago, I think.
I'm older than him.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
Is weird for me, I guess.
But we've had some really bad quarterbacks, man. Like the only reason we won that first Super Bowl was because our defense was like historically good.
Mm-hmm.
So we won that based off of our defense with like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, not necessarily because we had the best quarterback.
Defense wins games.
They do. But then in 2012, we had Joe Flacco, and he went on this ridiculous run in the playoffs, and then we paid him way too much. And then we got stuck with him for like the next 8 years. And but somehow we still were a decent team,
I've always viewed the Ravens as like a definite threat. I mean, every team was a threat for the Browns, but it was like, God, we got to play the Ravens.
Yeah.
Every time it was just like, damn, anyone in our division back then, maybe not the Bengals, but.
We have 3 teams now. Yeah, we have 3 teams now with young quarterbacks. I mean, Cleveland, Baltimore, and Cincy, and I could see us over the next, 8 to 10 years being the 3 teams in the division.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the Steelers are going to do, but it's definitely going to be some reworkings in their lineup for sure. I mean, they just did so well this season to be knocked out so quick by us. Awesome.
Dude, it was awesome.
Well, honestly, if anyone listening hasn't, go watch the highlights of the Browns-Steelers game. It was actually one of the coolest sporting events like I've seen, or the Browns-Ravens game the last time we played them. Both phenomenal performances.
I was speechless. And here's another thing. It's funny you say that because I was going to bring that up too. Is that even though the Browns overall maybe not have never been that great to a degree historically, especially playing the Ravens, at the same time they have I'm always scared playing the Browns because I feel like our teams tend to even if the Browns aren't that good that year, we play down and then they end up beating us.
Okay, that's a good point.
Last game, you guys, I thought we had it lost. That easily could have been a Browns win.
In classic Browns fashion, it didn't end that way. God damn it, Cody Parkey.
I know.
Our kicker.
But
you guys have the best kicker in the NFL.
I know, we do. We're really lucky.
He has a boot.
Dude, he's automatic. I don't think I ever worry about him.
Not only do I worry about quarterbacks, but kickers too, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, congratulations to our teams. Do you know what was cool? Do you remember, did you watch Nickelodeon when you were younger, or was it
For sure.
Okay. Because
wait, are you going to say how it was streaming on Nickelodeon or
did
something?
You see that?
I did not actually watch it, but I saw some things posted online of the end zones with the slime and the animations and stuff like that. What did you actually watch it?
So I didn't, but same thing as you. I got excited, and then I got disappointed that I didn't watch it because it looked way cooler. Woo!
That's insane.
Yeah, you can swipe back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, the NFL has they have new cameras too. I saw someone post something about after a touchdown, they came at him with a weird perspective camera, so it's super blurry, or not perspective, portrait mode almost looking shot.
Yeah.
Super blurry behind them, and it's just zoomed in and perfectly stable on the players. It looks like something out of Madden, like a Madden video game.
Yes. And especially now that they have the 360 cameras installed, when they show the plays, they'll show it from behind the quarterback, and as soon as he throws it, they do the 360, and then you can see the end of the play.
Yeah, no, that's insane. The replay animations are amazing too. I'm a big fan of the pylon cam.
Yes. Yes.
I find that technology so hilarious and useful.
Yes.
But at the same time, just for that one shot.
Dude, I think you guys can do it. I think you guys can pull off a win against KC because you guys, you guys have. I had Kareem Hunt for my fantasy football this year, and dude, I rode him all the way to the playoffs.
Okay, yeah,
and
we got a great running back duo. Kareem's great,
dude. He's so good.
Is awesome, but Nick Chubb is our main guy. And funny, when I go watch the Browns games with my buddies, they're in an apartment complex downtown, and Nick Chubb actually lives in the same apartment complex. And that, like, my buddy would be in the gym and he's like, I just saw Nick Chubb like deadlifting like 340 or something, just
Jesus.
like not a sweat on him, just doing it. And I find that awesome that like one of our star players is just downtown in the city, just living. But their running game is nasty. I love watching it.
See, that's why I think you can beat KC, because I don't think they're as good against the run. I could be wrong, but I mean,
I honestly have not seen a KC game this year. I watched them last year in the Super Bowl, and what I saw was really good. And I kind of agree, though. I've heard, like, talk to friends and stuff, and I think our run game could really pull through if they do. And, I mean, I have faith in them. But there's never been more hype or more, like, camaraderie on our team than there has been this year.
See, that's a big thing, I think, is the culture of the Browns this year is just completely different from even last year.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because you guys have always had good players. You've had good players in the past and good teams in the past, but then it's just the meshing. For some reason, it's just not meshing.
I feel like there's always been a disconnect because not only have we had like 15 quarterbacks over the last 20 years or whatever, but we've also had like 8-9 different coaches.
That's
like we went through a spurt of just getting a new coach every single year, and every year is like, is this going to be the guy? Is this going to be the guy that takes the Browns to the next level? And Kevin Stefanski, up for Coach of the Year.
Yes, I would agree.
Is the guy. I mean, it's crazy, and I feel like the wins, not only the wins, but the players on the team. It's a young roster. Like, I feel like they all can kind of relate with each other and really get along. And then the positive coaching from the staff now is like, it just brings everyone together, and they all want to do it for each other, which is something we've never had. Yeah, I'm really excited for when, coronavirus is over, to see like him without a mask on the field. I never get his facial expressions. Like, every Browns coach has a different, like, pissed off demeanor or just like a more calm, relaxed demeanor. And he looks calm the entire time. And I just want to see him riled up one game. Like, I don't know. But I think we definitely owe it to him really turning the city around. And then the city's always, that's the one constant with the Browns, is the city's always had their back. There's so many like parody videos of just about Cleveland as a city and how no matter what, every Sunday we'll be there for the Browns. And then most of the time we just went home a little depressed every week in the fall and winter.
Dude, Browns definitely have some of the best fans in sports. And I used to think that about Ravens fans. I used to be like, we have even when people come in town, we'll talk shit, but we'll buy them a beer or whatnot. And to be honest, it's not that way in Baltimore anymore, dude. I think we have some assholes, and it sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm like disappointed. I've been to a bunch of games where it's just like, I've even seen Ravens fans be rude to other Ravens fans, which is weird too. Like,
Yeah. The energy behind both of our teams right now could bring out a lot of hecklers.
That's true. I just feel like it's one of those things where Ravens fans, we have a lot of bandwagon fans to a degree now because of the success. So we have a lot of people that maybe weren't, haven't been there forever. And then we also have people that, to be honest, we have a lot of racists in Maryland.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
In Baltimore or just Maryland in general?
Maryland in general, because we have a Republican governor, but we have like a Democratic mayor. Like, it's very split in Maryland. And every single post conference or like interview or whatever after the games, there's always these people calling for like Lamar Jackson to be like kicked off the team or like whatever, just because he's black. I'm like, come on, guys. Like,
damn, that's aggressive out of the Baltimore fans. Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Dude, when they knelt overseas a couple years ago, oh my goodness. Maybe not during, but like before the game. I think they were respectful of the anthem. Maybe some players did, but they definitely knelt. And oh my goodness. There are so many people like, I'm giving up my season tickets. I'm like, I'll buy them. I'll buy them from you, buddy.
For real. People take that, I don't know, people take that shit so seriously. And it is, I mean, like, in the broader sense of, like, what they're kneeling for and what they're standing for is important to take seriously. But, like, my God, if something like that pisses you off that much, get rid of the tickets. Give them to me. They're going to be way happier with me screaming good chants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's just weird how, like, politics can divide sports, because, like, on one hand they're right, they're like, let's keep it to sports, but again, they're saying it for different reasons. Whereas, like, I don't know, I think if you're a Baltimore fan, you support the team no matter who's the quarterback. I guess that was the point really I was trying to get at, is that it's funny that I used to think we had such great fans that were so loyal, but now it's like they'll turn on you in a second. I think they're spoiled. Because we got 2 Super Bowls within, like, we had a Super Bowl within 4 years of being a franchise, quote unquote,
That's something to be excited about. But yeah, I feel that from some of my Baltimore fan friends, is they're just like, they're spoiled.
Yeah, they're spoiled. They really spoiled. Are.
Do you know Big Sherm? He's friends with the Joint Operation guy.
Oh yeah, you know what? For the longest time, I thought he was part of the band or was in the band, and he is. I know he like kind of like does some rapping and different stuff with them, but like
I think he was managing at one point. He's just like really good friends with all those guys.
Yeah.
So he's involved for sure. But I remember, it was like, what was it, 2 weeks ago when the Browns lost to the Jets, and that was just like, oh God, what the hell? That was just a horrible feeling. The worst team in the NFL, for you listening, if you might not know, the New York Jets are last. They are last place, next to the Cincinnati Bengals. And when we lost to them, the clock didn't even hit 0. There was like 10 seconds left. And Big Sherm posted on Instagram a photo of our quarterback, Baker Mayfield, just on the bench, just looking sad, just like Ben Roethlisberger did last weekend. Sherm. But and he's like, this is the greatest day in the NFL. At Rex Larkman, at Bobby Cronick. I was like, why are you doing this? What are you saying?
Well, like the Ravens weren't even involved in the game, and you're talking shit. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly. He's always chirping about the Ravens, and so I publicly unfollowed him on social media.
I was about to say, you have to unfollow him after that. Like,
I like went to the story he tagged me in, clicked it, went to his profile, unfollow, but I like screen recorded all of it on my phone. So I just followed him back last weekend.
Yeah,
I have a heart.
Yeah,
he's going through a change of character right now, and I think he's getting better.
Those guys are great. I like the Joint Boys.
Another staple thing in my heart for Baltimore. Good music comes out of Baltimore.
You know what? We really do. We've had a great scene forever, and not even just in the reggae rock scene, but like in the rock scene, even in the rap scene. There's people on the Billboard charts right now that I had no clue are from Baltimore,
Huh.
I guess it's such a diverse city, whereas like even in the little music communities, there's like the county will have like certain bars or venues where a lot of people will always play. We'll have downtown and whatnot, and like Good Charlotte, All Time Low, Counting Crows. I mean, OAR. Wow. There's so many bands that are from this area that.
OAR's from there?
Yeah, they're from like they're like Columbia, Maryland-ish. We have a lot in the metal scene too. Metal's really big in Baltimore, so we have a lot of metal.
I always felt that. I think I've only ever been to Baltimore like 2 or 3 times for shows with Trop, and I've always had a good time there. But I've heard that the metal scene in Baltimore is really sick.
Well, I gotta give you props while you're on here, because I went to Freakstomp, and I'm telling you, it might have only been the second year that you guys did it, and it was one of my favorite festivals I've ever been to, dude. It was
awesome.
The vibe, the environment there. Like, it might not have been the most outlandish one, you know what I mean? It really was a camping festival, just so well put together. Everyone was nice. It just, I had a blast. It seriously was one of my favorite festivals I've ever been to.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that might have been my first Freakstomp as well. Was that 2018? Probably?
Yeah, with the circus top. I guess you guys always do the circus top, but...
I think the second year of Freakstomp was the year I joined the band, and that was my first. And I remember, I think it like poured rain the first day.
It
Or
did.
something.
It rained, but then it cleared up and was pretty good.
Really, really did. It's always a fear in that first week or second weekend of August, like for rain, or at least it has been the past two Freakstomps. And yeah, it's always cleared up on us. It's always been a sunshine after the pour. But yeah, thank you. It's fun to put on. We obviously have a lot of help in like Jim Garibaldi. Rhodes does a lot. We have a big team doing stuff, but just to be a part of something like that can promote that kind of positivity is really cool too. And every time I go, I have a great time too. It's like, this is our festival, but I'm going and I'm seeing friends and seeing family and just bands you haven't seen in a while. So it's a big get together in our neck of the woods, which is so cool to see. And every time I go, I have a great time too. It's like, this is our festival, but I'm going and I'm seeing friends and seeing family and just bands you haven't seen in a while. So it's a big get together in our neck of the woods, which is so cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard. I don't think people realize how hard it is to put something like that together.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of just keeping track of just bands, money, where people are going. We moved to a different location. So it would have been 2 years ago in 2019.
Right.
The last time we actually did Freakstomp, because obviously last year we couldn't. I forget what the place is called, but it was like a rundown ski resort, or just like one that's not in operation anymore, still in the like southern north, or like south of Cleveland,
right
away. But it was just one of the coolest sights to see. Like, I'd only ever been to one Freakstomp before that, and then we're like, new area, might be harder to get people there, but like it's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be worth it, and it really was. The 2019 Freakstomp was amazing. I ran up the ski hill with Coach Meyer's gut check. He used to be a wrestling coach at OSU, and he's followed us for a long time, and he's kind of become a friend every time we go down to Columbus.
That's awesome.
And he's like, we should do some sort of workout that I could post about. We did hill runs at Freakstomp at like 9 a.m. or something. But then we got to the top of the ski like lift basically, and just looked down at the circus tent and everyone else's tents, and it was just the most beautiful view. It was just like in awe at what we've created in the community we've created around it.
Yeah,
very blessed.
Yeah,
very blessed.
And every year it just gets that much bigger. And, you know, because I guess, you guys had to change the venue because you outgrew the other. I'm sure there's other logistics involved, but, you know, you basically outgrew that venue. I'm blessed, too, because I think I was part of your first tour with Tropidelic, with Ballyhoo, right? Was that your
the first big tour I ever did? That tour, like...
Oh, my goodness. How fun was that?
Just coming in so green to just the music industry and things. Like, I played in bands before and like punk bands around Cleveland, but this was like a legit thing. And wild enough, I was into like Streetlight Manifesto growing up, like some ska, punk, but not really reggae that much. But I would always go to Warped Tour since like 2000, I think 10 was the first Warped Tour I went to. And Ballyhoo was on a compilation CD that I got my first ever Warped Tour, and I fell in love with Walk Away and the whole I forget the name of the album, Daydream or whatever, Evil Penguin, all those songs and stuff. Oh my
goodness, yeah.
So just me being in the band from February and then touring with Ballyhoo and playing Warped Tour that summer, the same summer, it was just crazy. I don't know, just realizations that holy shit, I'm doing it. We're doing it. Like this is so cool.
I think I caught you guys that same year on Warped Tour as well, and it rained so hard that one day. Vinny trying to keep that tent afloat, props to him, man. He worked so hard.
Do you remember what date you went to? Was it the North Carolina one?
It might have been Charlotte. It might have been Atlanta. Did you guys play Atlanta?
Okay, so Atlanta would have been the second day. We did the last 6 days ever.
Okay, yeah.
Which, again, as a kid, is just the stars aligned.
I can't imagine.
I always told myself I would play Warped Tour, and then we got the last 6 days. It couldn't have waited any longer.
Yeah. Dude, I went to Warped Tour. That was one of the highlights of me growing up, was my dad taking me to Warped Tour. I was probably like 8 through 12 or whatever. And just the patience he had with me, and I'd run off with my friends and like leave them alone. And But he loved it too, man. Like we got to see Green Day and stuff on like the side stage. Like it wasn't even like the main stage. Now it was probably
legendary.
yeah, it was probably 2 main stages. But I remember one year it was like everyone. It was like Goldfinger, Green Day, No Doubt, Blink 182, Fallout, like all those bands that I grew up.
Wow, yeah.
And
That they sparked so much. Warped
Yeah.
Tour really blew up so many bands. I'm like super into post-hardcore and just
Same.
like metalcore and stuff. So like when they went down that road is really where I fell into Warped Tour. But then there were bands like Streetlight, Real Big Fish, Goldfinger that were all like staples that would always come back no matter how
Poppy
big the variety was.
Right. Yeah, and I was gonna say on one hand it sucked, but then recently and then over the last decade, because they went more broad, they even pretty much opened the scene for a lot of those reggae acts that are playing Warped Tour now, or were playing Warped Tour.
Sublime. I mean, back in the 90s when Warped Tour was super early on, they basically showed off Sublime to the US.
Yep.
And there's a lot of like, I know Pepper's been on it. I remember my first Warped Tour actually. I think it was, like I said, maybe 2010 or 12. My dad came with me, and that year they had actually made a parents' tent.
Oh, wow.
So he was able to just drink in an air-conditioned tent while I went off, and I was like watching a bunch of like emo bands and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was one takeaway he had from it. He's like, there's this band called Pepper that I saw on a side stage that was amazing, and how he just praised their banter and just praised the energy and fun-loving summer music that they had. And at the time, I was like, I don't know what Pepper is, so I'll check them out. They're all right. But now it's like, it's Pepper. Like, that's so insane. And to just be a part of that Warped Tour family of reggae bands, let it be, I would say, pretty few.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that it happened.
Pepper was a big reason I made it through college the first time, because, there'd be late nights of me studying, like pulling all-nighters before a test, smoking and listening to Pepper to make sure I remembered everything.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I feel that too.
So everyone knows you from Tropidelic, but I've really enjoyed seeing a lot of your solo stuff that you've been getting into, man. I really think it's so well done and very professional. Like, have you had a lot of this stuff kind of building up for a while, or is it just the musician in you that's just like, we've had a lot of time this last year besides recording and planning for 2021, so maybe this is a great time to release some of it.
That's definitely where my mind was at in 2020.
Yeah.
It was such a halt on the music industry. Yeah. And I'm a very, I would say, creative person, and I love exploring different sides of music. Like as a drummer in particularly, like I grew up on metal. I played in a punk band. I was in jazz band. Marching band was huge for me growing up. So it was just learning the different sides of drumming. And now with the time, I'd been like practicing rap and practicing vocals. I used to sing backup in the punk band I was in before Tropidelic. So I'd always had the drive to be a front man, or like to do something that's me entirely. And like you said, 2020 was the perfect time to do it. I had the free time. And what really sparked my solo career starting was the death of a really good friend at the beginning of summer of 2020. So it was like June. It wasn't coronavirus or anything. He had some problems, but he was like one of the first people that introduced me to music. And like, I was starting to get into hip hop over the last like 2 years, which is something I never really was into growing up. Just being in the reggae rap scene, it's like, it was just inevitable that I would find some catchiness with the music. And this my buddy who passed away, he was like the first person I ever made music with, and he had this drive like crazy. And it was summertime, and I wanted to write a pop rap song that everyone of my friends I know would love. And when he passed away, it clicked with me. I'm like, Drew showed me this beat he made like 7 years ago. So I went back through his old stuff, just like reminiscing the times I had with him. And I found that beat 7 years ago, and it was called Kiwi. And I was just sitting at my desk, just a little in my feels, just like trying to write something happy. Yeah. Like, how can I take the tragedy of that and just the tragedy of 2020 in general and make something that I know my friends can dance to throughout the summer or just be happy about? So I took his beat, Kiwi, kept the title, and just wrote a summer pop song from what he created. And I did it with like Chris DeCola at Signal Flow Studios, all the guys that Tropidelic records with. And it was one of the most proud things I'd ever made. And to see the response of it, like with my friends and just new fans from Tropidelic and just new people finding it in general. The Philippines are a big fan of that song.
That's
like
awesome.
If I go through my Spotify analytics, like that's insane to see.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really proud of that. And that's kind of what sparked me wanting to open that side of my musical career up and kind of take it wherever I want to go with it, because now is the time to be creative and just constantly pushing new content, new sounds, and just pushing myself to try something new while we have the time.
Yeah. You were talking about how COVID, you being able to release them. I never poo-pooed it, but I see everyone, they get a nice camera and then they start their own photography page and they're like, Joshua Kutcher photography. And some of them are really good, but some of them are, they just have a nice camera. But I became that guy because I went out and I got a really nice camera, and dude, I fell in love with it. I've fallen in love with like photography and videography and production and doing this podcast because it kind of involves a bunch of different things, all aspects of that. And
very much all things that you could take to production.
I can play every instrument. Well, drums is actually the last thing I learned to play, but it's my favorite instrument to play. Like, I'm always playing drums.
Yeah.
I just don't get to play it consistently enough to where I can get that muscle memory and really get my wrists going, to do a full set. But I love drums, and yeah, I met you on the first tour with Ballyhoo, and we actually have we had the same kit, the Mapex kit at that time, and now you are working and have a SJC kit. How has it been kind of working with them and getting to basically have, some dream equipment to a degree?
SJC is like a company I've been wanting to be with for a while. Growing up in high school, I was like a big 21 Pilots fan, and Josh Dunn, their drummer, he's SJC, Neck Deep, a pop punk band in the scene. Their drummer's SJC. 4 Years Strong, probably my favorite pop punk. Is that 4 Years Strong thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, yeah. And it sucks because I cover it, but I put it there so it would be like a main thing. But yeah, if I could be in a band, that's the type of band I would be in.
Oh yeah,
that's exactly the blueprint, where it's like melodic but still heavy and just
happy
fun.
Hardcore.
Yes, happy hardcore. That's exactly what I want to be. Look, if you ever want to do some side shit and you come out from behind the drums and stick me back there, and we'll get some other people, I would love to do a couple songs, even if it's just singles.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I play 4 Years Strong so much at home that my sister, who likes 4 Years Strong a little bit, but she recognizes every time I play, it must really suck to be 4 Years Strong right now.
Yeah.
Like, she just has the drum part memorized from hearing it. All I know is that when I'm 4 years into being in Tropidelic, I'm getting a 4 Years Strong tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just 4 years doing it, 4 years of being in a band. And they're the reason, actually. 4 Years Strong is the reason I fell in love with Warped Tour. I saw one of their video episodes from them on the tour, and that changed my whole life. I'm like, I need to be at this punk rock summer camp every summer. The community at SJC is
incredible.
Another great group of people, group of drummers. Like the roster is amazing. Josh Manuel from Issues, which honestly might be my favorite band of 2020.
I wish you could see it. They're the first band up here is Issues. You can't see it.
Yeah,
it's like, it's not in the frame, but
yeah, no, dude. Issues, and Josh Manuel especially, their drummer, is like SJC family, and also now I can be a part of that family too. I could say that, like, I have a connection to some of my favorite drummers in the scene, and the guys behind the scene at SJC are super supportive too. Like, whenever I think I have a cool video or something to show, I'll send it to them and I'll be like, hey, what do you guys think? Maybe we could post about it on the SJC page. And they've been nothing but yes, let's do it. Like, total support of any support I give, which is super cool. And just hand in hand, we work well together. I actually just posted on Instagram, I think it was 2 days ago. Are you on TikTok at all?
I'm not.
Okay, I'm kind of new to it as well.
I should, you know, as far as a business guy, I should be on there because and Twitch, but no, I'm
Twitch,
not.
yeah, I haven't gotten into Twitch yet either.
No.
But when the Browns won, I made there's a
Is there a
TikTok
video on your
trend.
Insta?
There's a TikTok trend going around. Juju Smith, one of the defense. I forget what position he's is. Is he defense or no?
Juju, yeah, he's a wide receiver. He's
a
always
wide receiver,
dancing
yeah.
on the logos.
Yeah, he's
Shit.
dancing on other teams' logos.
He annoys me.
And doing this Corvette song. It's called Adderall by it's Pup something Hunna, I think. I'm gonna butcher the name. But
Papuna?
I think so. You got that on your
Yeah, is this you doing the drum cover?
That's me doing the drum cover, yeah.
Is this what you posted there?
Yeah. I did a cover of that song, which was just a major diss to basically the Steelers and their team. And I hit up SJC and I was like, hey, I got this Steelers diss video that's getting a lot of traction on my page. Do you mind? Could we post it on the SJC page? In my email, I'm like, if we can get this up before Sunday, where we play Kansas City Chiefs, that would be great.
Before we potentially lose.
Where we could potentially get smashed.
Dude,
but,
we might get smashed too. I was nervous about the Titans game. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it out of that. Let's talk about your solo stuff a little bit more. Your newest single, Leave This For You, is out. Is that the one you just put out?
Mm-hmm. That was something I wanted to do for a while. I wanted to make a song on guitar. I've been playing bass for probably like 3-4 years, so just getting used to the string and making it still in the rhythm section, and just being able to play around with the string instrument was cool. But I always wanted to like learn chords and learn. I really don't know what I'm doing still. I know like 7 chords, which is enough to write any song.
Right.
But one day my friend Meg had this painting and she's like, look at this painting and write me a song. You can do that, right? And I'm like, yeah, I could do
That's
that.
Cool.
I mean, I didn't like lyrically write it for her. She just like wanted me to come up with something based on looking at the painting. And she's like, it's called Shapeless Man. It was just kind of like a blotch, like kind of abstract painting. And I just went home with the thought in my mind of Shapeless Man and the painting, grabbed my guitar and just started finger picking. I was doing bass chords, honestly, is what I was doing. I was just like playing around with things. And then I came up with something that sounded very cold and almost wintry, which is kind of what I've done. Like I wrote the summer song Kiwi, and then I came out with one in between that called Free Livin'. And I think I wanted that to have kind of like a fall poppy vibe. I'm proud of it. It's not like something I built from the ground up. I did it off of a beat that I found and paid for. But like this one, Leave This For You, was like all me. It was me and an acoustic guitar. I knew I wanted some orchestral musical stuff. And Derek's girlfriend, Liz Kitts, is a classically trained violinist. And as I'm writing it, I hear violins and things going off in my head. So I'm like, oh my God, like this is the song I've told her for a year that I would have her on eventually when I wrote it. And basically the topic of the lyrics is an idea I came up with a while ago, kind of when MGK was releasing stuff. I don't know why, but like his color scheme really spoke to me, like the pink and black. But I just imagine, like, what if I wrote a song? Like, the song is the idea of writing a song for someone. Creating something from scratch and leaving it for them because you just want them to hear it. You want them to care for it. And I imagine like a red pink bow or like a red bow and like a red box on someone's front door or something was kind of the image in my head for the tone of the song. But then I also wanted it to come out around Christmas, wintertime. It has a cold feel to it. And it was like a week of like trying to get it done before we hit the road, because we did a 2-week tour in December.
With Cashed Out?
Mini tour. Yeah, the Cashed Out run. Awesome time. I love those guys. That was so much fun. Lot crazy. I will say that. It was really, really crazy just touring again in the climate that we were. But we were safe. We did our thing, and a part of me kind of thinks like, you know, when is live music going to come back? We don't know. But if we have an opportunity where we can bring it to people, we'll bring it to people, because I think we made a lot of people's years by doing that tour.
Yep.
Despite maybe some backlash from people saying it wasn't safe.
I guess my beef is that venues and restaurants went through all these changes, made sure they were safe, put up barriers, bought new tables, did all this stuff, and then they're being told they need to shut down again, despite doing all the things they were told in the first place. So I definitely...
Is Baltimore completely closed?
Yeah.
Like, can you not sit down at a restaurant?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, during the day you can.
Okay, yeah. We have a 10 o'clock curfew in Cleveland.
Yeah, same.
Is that what you guys have then?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, the 10 o'clock curfew. But it's like you can go to Target until midnight. Like, I don't see the difference.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do that. Everything around me closes at 10 regardless. The east side of Cleveland's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it sucks. I mean, it's hurting so many businesses. Music venues left and right around the country are closing.
Crazy. It's crazy.
My dream venue as a kid in Pittsburgh, ironically, is a place called the Rex Theater.
Yeah, Rex Theater. Is that because of the name too? Yeah, no.
Mostly because of the name. It was just like, oh, my favorite band is playing House of Blues Cleveland, and then the next day, the Rex Theater in Pittsburgh. Just looking at like a tour lineup as a kid, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to play it with Trop a few times and actually sell it out, which was like
awesome.
We sold out my house. That's so cool.
Yes.
And then when all this happens, you just see it gone for good. It's just like the rebound is going to be weird when it does. I heard Live Nation or Ticketmaster's doing something weird now, trying to get shows back up, but you have to have a COVID test result 24 hours before the show.
Yeah. Which is really hard to plan.
Super hard to plan.
Like, you can't play, even if it's, that I don't know how they're going to do that.
Yeah, you got to like schedule a COVID test. And can you even do that? You just kind of like go when you can.
And you don't even know how long it's going to take to get the results, because it varies. Sometimes you can get it in a day if there's not a lot. And then, especially with the winter time, like, I have to imagine that cases are up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be harder to get that result quickly.
For sure. And then also they were like, or you can show, Ticketmaster said, or you could show proof of a vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like not available for everyone. I think they're just saying this outright early for maybe shows will start happening in the summer. I don't know. Maybe this new strain of COVID will ruin it all again. So you don't think who can really say we're like, I would say like at a lucky like middle point in our career where we're not playing 3,000 cap venues. No. We could play a bar to like 50 to 100 people in Florida, and with it being like COVID restricted, like, and have a great show and like make something good out of it. But like, it's the big bands and the little bands who are going to have, the big bands won't have that many problems, but like, especially like you were saying for the cruise too, like we when we did that tour in December, we had some new guys on the road with us. One of them, our buddy Jason, and he basically made Mushroom Head.
Wow!
Like he ran their entire merch line. He did a bunch of things like from the marketing aspect of them. He runs the mask company that they do now, and like. He was telling me all his friends in the metal music scene, all those bands that would tour, like the crew guys are just depressed because they either have to go find regular everyday jobs or just like scavenge for something to do, basically. And that's why he was blessed to come on the road with us. And we were lucky enough in a position to be able to have him. And it just like, it sucks. Especially for the crew guys. Yeah. Like some of my best buddies, Bumpin' Uglies guys, like just, I don't know.
Yeah, Justin and Carl.
Yeah.
I'm going to have those guys on soon, hopefully. And
duo,
for them.
The Bruisers.
Yeah. No, that was another great thing was you guys doing Weekend at Wolfie's, right? And you had the wrestling match with the twins and the sex. That was hilarious. I'm very lucky that my parents I've known since I was young. Since the Warped Tour days, that music is what I wanted to do, whether it be playing music, helping manage bands, or whatever, any type of whatever aspect I got into, I knew I wanted to do music. And my parents never forced me to go get a degree. They always supported me in the music aspect of things. So I'm very lucky that I was able to get my degrees so that I did have something to fall back on, but also put them towards music. But the point of all this is that I got into music specifically because I wanted to make it more fair for artists. Being someone that was a musician, and I understand why people are hesitant when it comes to managers, because there are a lot of shitty ones out there that will give you bad, info, or they'll take advantage of you, or just don't know what they're doing. They might have the best intentions, but just don't have the background and aren't really able to help you.
The music industry could be make or break after a certain decision, marketing, business-wise. Like, you take risks. You have to, but a right guy by your side can definitely help with that knows where they're coming from and what other bands are doing, and learning about the scene that they're in.
I've always believed in doing things right and doing right by the artist, but I also feel like if you start from the basics, get your finances in order, and set a good business plan going forward, work on your marketing, that you can at least go on tour and not worry about rent, have savings for your family, be able to afford a home, your mortgage, and not worry about stuff. You might not be millionaires that are traveling the world, but I can at least set you up for life, responsibly, and where you can make a living, and then it's up to you to grow it from there. You know what I mean?
I feel like a lot of downfalls of bands is the financial aspect of it, despite like any internal fighting that a band may have, just because a band is a group of brothers working on pushing one thing together, and that's hard to find the right people for. But the finances of it all was something with me just being in the music industry now for like 3-4 years, like, professionally, is something I watch a lot in our band, and how well Rhodes manages our finances and how well we do it, as a group, as much as it is kind of his micromanaging that keeps us intact. Definitely being smart with your money, for sure. You can do a lot with a little, but you also have to take the sacrifice of like spending that little to constantly be making a lot. And I feel like that risk is something a lot of bands who don't have the business or financial backgrounds that you or Rhodes has, they don't take those risks, and they just kind of plateau after a while. And then a balance of all of that. And I went to college for marketing. It wasn't business marketing. It was through a communication school at my university. But I joined Trop while I was in college, while I was on tour with you guys.
Yeah.
So
I remember you studying, I think, to be honest. I could be wrong.
I had a lot of philosophy courses that summer.
I bet.
But it's like learning from Rhodes and the guys in Trop on how to financially stabilize your band as a business, alongside my marketing mind of like how to sell that business to keep it stable, is like a balance that is really hard to understand and truly grasp unless you're in the thick of it, like you have been. And like you said, just like a lot of managers and people haven't been on the road. They don't understand the dynamics of a group of guys trying to live and survive at gas stations every night. There's just so many layers that could go into making a successful project like that. And I think, like you were saying, we're both blessed to have like that mindset, or at least those people around us, to where we can learn and thrive from, to keep us successful and keep us moving forward, even in times like this. Like, how the hell do you adapt? Like, that was the first question when it all broke out in March. Our last show, we were literally driving home from 311 Day in Vegas.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was so much fun seeing you guys there. I'm glad you got to do that.
Yeah. But literally, as we were all going home, it's like coronavirus hits the news.
We pushed it. That was like the last second that I'm pretty sure that last 311 show was the last live event going on in the U.S. at that point.
It might have been. What was it, the 12th? Or so, like 13th of March?
That Friday. Yeah, the 13th.
Yeah,
Something
that
like
was, it was literally 100 to 0 in under a day of just any hope. Like, we had a whole nother leg of the tour with the Badfish that we were going to go on for like another month after that. We had a week off at home, drive home from Vegas, and then back on the road. And that still hasn't even been rescheduled or anything.
Man.
So it's like, I don't know. That's cool to say though. Like I've
Yeah.
thought of that a lot too. It's like
No,
you
that
might
is
have
cool
been
to
a part
say.
of the last music event in
America.
In America, yeah.
Because I know a
Major
lot of
music
stuff
event.
started getting shut down on like Thursday. So there was a big question if they would even do the show on Friday. You know,
I remember that.
So
Yeah.
it's got to be one of them. I mean, it might not have been the last one, but you know, as far as a big major event,
I think Post Malone was supposed to be in Vegas
like
on like
the next
a
day
few
or 2 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he made it. I don't think
No.
he made it. I think
Some of the
people
311
got it.
people I know had tickets to that too. They bought tickets for 311 day. They're like, well, we're still going to be in Vegas. Let's buy tickets for Post Malone. And then
Yeah, they use their winnings and they're just like,
Oh, yeah.
fuck it, we're living here.
Yeah. I think there's a good balance that you have to find between understanding the industry and doing the business, working the system, and then also being creative and getting yourself out there.
Yeah, the part that I think, never be afraid to be creative is the most important part of that. Like you definitely have to have the balance between business and art, but you have to have that creative drive to even consider the business of your art.
Yeah,
and that's something I've always found in myself through school, like, and just in general. Like that's why I made the solo stuff. That's why I'm a metal drummer in a reggae band. I do love it, but I'm like, my roots are in metal and prog rock.
Same.
The artist in me is telling me to do my solo stuff right now while I have the time, and to explore new realms, so that when things go back to normal, I could take what I've learned on my own and bring them to Trop, and bring them to other possibilities. Who knows? Just music, creativity, and ideas of the business. Like, I don't know. It's been a lot of time off. It's been a lot of time off to myself, just thinking about everything we've accomplished and our friends have accomplished, and like, how do we all bounce back when we can and blow up and use this lull to take off. I mean, and it's exciting to think about too. Although, like, I guess, I mean, a lot of people are struggling in the music industry. We're really lucky enough to still be adapting and trying new things and live streaming and doing private shows just to get by. Like, not only do those private shows like build a friendship with those people, but like it grows the Tropidelic family too. So I'm excited for the future, to say the least, because I feel like since we've had so much time on our own to gather our ideas and gather our opinions on what the next move is, I think a lot of people will be ready, and a lot of people, unfortunately, might not be ready. And I don't know. It's going to be an interesting 2021. And so far, it's been great. Go Brownies.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see.
It's been the best high in the past few months.
Oh, yes. Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think the industry is going to come back even stronger because of this. I think it has forced people that might not have done or kept up with their social media or thought about doing streams. Because think about it. I've been on tours where we'll do like a weekend tour up the coast or something like that. But yet now you can just do, I know they say, well, you're not going to make as much in merch or other things, but you know, you can substitute that weekend tour where you're also spending gas, hotel, whatever, do one live stream where people from all over the country, not just that one city, can see you. So even though that's never going to replace touring, it can be a substitute going forward for maybe like one of those small weekend runs, or if you guys have promotion coming up or marketing or different things that you feel like doing a live set would be great and you want to reach more people. And I think because people have missed out on music so long, man, I mean, you guys have already felt that feeling of doing that Florida run, of how much energy was just given back to you, I'm sure.
So much.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah, that's a super important thing to bring up, is like people miss this so much that when it does come back and we get the green light, like, holy shit, the tours are going to be insane.
They're going to sell out.
Be excited? How can you not be excited about it? Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think every show that bands, if you have fans, like, for the first couple tours, are going to be close to selling out, if not selling out, depending on what venue you're playing.
I think they will. Like, venues are going to push them harder than, I mean, I don't know if they'll have the marketing money, unfortunately, to push shows, but like, they know they'll make it back. Those that planned ahead, they have stuff saved up to just drive the music industry into like an upward trend for hopefully a while, and then maybe things will level out again until the next Rona hits. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I also hope not only on the fan aspect of it, I hope this makes positive change for the industry where we all kind of look at it and work together. I'm hoping that this will cause people higher up or people in the mainstream music industry too to take a look at things and maybe going forward work to see how we can, again, it goes back to making things more fair for the artists and being so everyone can thrive. So if this does happen, bands at least have money saved up to be able to kind of weather through it or put out consistent content while this is going on. So, but I got tickets for Riot Fest, which I think is the closest to like Warp Tour that they've had in a long time with these huge bands.
Is that Chicago?
Yes, they do Chicago, Canada. Yeah. I think they've expanded to like other areas as well. But yeah, oh my God. And their lineup this year is insane.
They have a 2021 lineup? Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
So the 4-day tickets, right,
I think I did.
they were only $100 or something like that because it was in a year in advance. Is this 2017? Let's see these new ones. 2021. So far it's My Chemical Romance, Smashing Pumpkins, Run the Jewels, Coheed, and Cambria, Sublime with Rome, Taking Back Sunday, Dirty Heads, Lupe, Fiasco, Simple Plan, Newfound Glory, All American Rejects. The one sad one on here though is Toots. Toots was supposed to play it, but he passed away this year. Yeah, and then, but you know, a lot. Circle Jerks, Thrice.
Do they have the whole lineup?
No, so this is only the first wave.
Okay, I'm looking at the flyer right now.
Yeah, this is just the first wave. Circa Survive is so good. I mean, Bayside, Best Coast.
Who else we got?
Fever.
We
got Fever.
Bayside. Pup. I love Pup.
Thursday Saves the Day.
Fever 333. Dude, yeah. No, this is literally a Warped Tour dream lineup. Like,
and I don't even think this is the biggest or best ones that are coming. Like, I think the second and the final wave are going to be even better. Like, which is crazy.
Riot Fest. We would love to play.
Oh my goodness. You guys would be perfect for that because this is kind of like a Warp Tour in the sense of they have a lot of those old school Warp bands, but then they also have a mix of like reggae in there with Dirty Heads and Sublime and a mix of other things.
When is it? September?
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing Orlando Vacation with Dirty Heads. I think that's September 9th or something. I mean, it's announced for 2021,
right.
But
dude, if you can go to this, fucking come with me. I have a bunch of people going. That's always such a good time.
I would love to if it's a real thing. I mean, like if it happens, I mean.
Yeah. I went to it in 2013, dude, and it was the best festival I've ever been to by far. It was so good. They had so many good bands. And I think Rage Against the Machine is on here too. They're going to be announced later. So a lot of those bands, I think a lot of the big festivals that were canceled this year, a lot of those artists are coming back. So like the Rage Against the Machine, the My Chemical Romance is like a lot of the reunions.
System of a Down,
yeah. I'm lucky I got to see a lot of these bands. I think I started to say that when I pointed to this thing earlier, is that a lot of these are from back in the day, and I'm so lucky that my dad took me to like Metallica and a bunch of these other concerts when I was younger. And hopefully, you know, when all this stuff blows over, we're kind of back to normalcy. Yeah, me too. Me too.
My Chemical Romance is the headliner?
I mean, like, for the first wave.
First wave, baby.
I mean, imagine that, because I assume they try to announce. Well, actually, I don't know. Sometimes it depends on the festival. Sometimes they announce the bigger ones first to get people interested. Sometimes they save it. You know, it depends on the lineup or how many headliners. But
the way the flyer looks, the question marks kind of bleed into the bottom there. So they may just all be big bands.
I just think because music was so lost this last year that festivals and everyone are just going to, and bands even are willing to just say, okay, I'll take a little less to come back and do this fucking amazing festival. You know,
yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what it is?
This could be the year that like puts Riot Fest on the map of like a Coachella.
I'm hoping so, because I've always felt that it is one of the better festivals. Coachella and them are nice, but I also feel like the vibe's different because it's like a lot of rich people or celebrities like doing
Coachella, Lollapalooza.
Yeah, those kind of things now. Whereas it used to be, I mean, just even look at the Fire Fest. Like,
I just watched that the other day again.
Oh, how crazy is that, dude? Talk about
I love that story.
talk
I
about
think it's
being unprepared and like not knowing what you're doing and letting money run things.
too much business.
Too much business, dude.
A dude that did not know the scene.
At
Well, it's
all.
too much bad business.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, that is a great story to watch. I've watched a few, and there's a couple different documentaries on it too, but I guess the official one I remember seeing, and they were talking about the marketing team that they had hired to do it, and they were giving like their background on it and just how dysfunctional it is.
Yeah, I watched the Hulu one recently, which was more Billy.
Yeah.
Which was more the marketing team and those guys, because the Netflix
Mm-hmm.
one kind of told the story, but that one really went deep into like the guy that was put in charge of marketing for the festival, and he's confused. Everyone's confused because they didn't know what they were doing.
No, they had no clue.
Ja Rule was just there for the ride. He came out on an interview, and they showed it in the documentary. It was like after Fyre Fest took a shitter, and like it just went down the drain. He was on an interview, and he got a little tipsy, and he was saying, "Fyre Fest was my idea." Like he said it, like he was the idea man behind the actual festival. Billy was just the guy that went through with it.
Right.
So like he kind of took credit in a bad way for that.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
Even during ours, I remember like things were going wrong day by day, and we're just like, fuck, like the behind the scenes shit is crazy day of a festival, let alone 8 months leading up to it. And Billy McFarland tried to do it in 3.
Yeah.
So like he
Ugh.
didn't give himself the time at all. He might have had all the fake money in the world he said he had, but he definitely did not put in the time because he didn't know.
No.
Another shout out to a good festival I want to give is Reggae Rise Up. I love that was like my second month of touring. We did Reggae Rise Up, and we advertised for it very, very grassroots. Like we went around it. We did it at Cali Roots too. We actually opened up Cali Roots, the first band to play when we did play, and we were like, should we do a quick march through everywhere with the drum line and the tuba and everything? And we're like, hell yeah, we should. And I guarantee you that got us like 300 more people to the stage. We just take that Warped Tour mentality to these big festivals, and I would say a lot of bands don't do that.
I was just going to bring that up to say that you guys are one of the only bands that go out there, and they're not too big. Again, it's taking out the naivety of the industry. And I've worked with bands where they're like, well, we did that with our old manager. We did that before my old band and didn't work. I'm like, okay, but this isn't your old band anymore. You know, let's start fresh. Let's do it the right way, and then you'll see the results that you need to see. But part of it is, you guys are, that's why, look, the bands like you and Article Sound System and the different bands that go out of their way to put out good content, but not even just that, connect with their target audience and not be above anything, to go out there and actually do fun things like the drum line and the different things at festivals. That little effort makes such a big difference, and I'm surprised more bands don't do it, you know?
We're lucky to have like that circusy background to us. Like high school drumline background, like, because if we didn't, I don't know what we would do. We would march around with a tuba, maybe the horns, but like if I didn't have my tenor drums, I wouldn't be a part of that. And like, sure, we probably would have adapted and found some way to go out and entertain people. Tropidelic always has. They've always been that band. In like 2015, before my time at South by Southwest, they were playing in the streets, would get shut down by cops, and then would just move a block over to the next street and set up with their generator again and play to a whole new group of people. And that's the most fun. That's really cool. Like, I'm excited for festivals to open up and to like not only be a part of it, but also to be able to go out and do that march around again and just see the people's face like that. Especially when things open up for the first time in a while, I don't know, it'll blow us up, possibly. I hope so. We're going to keep doing it until it does, you know?
I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, taking time, because I know how valuable it is. I was so excited to get you on here and talk sports and stuff, because I get a lot of musicians, so it's like hit or miss if they're into sports or not, you know?
For sure.
Like, I can't always get it. And we're not a sports podcast, so it's like, you know, I have to pick and choose when I can actually talk about it. But shit.
I'm glad I could add what I could add, man. Like, that is super fun. This was awesome.
Yes. I'll have to have you on, you know, down the road. We definitely got to get you back in here if you guys are ever on tour in the area.
Hopefully we're in Baltimore soon. Like, I hope we start hitting some other cities like that open up or let things happen with some restrictions, you know?
Yeah. For sure. Good luck to the Brownies. Good luck to the
Good
Ravens.
luck to the Ravens.
Yeah. And, all right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
All right, peace.